had some people coming in and us jaw jacking, so. Let's start this meeting with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, our attorney's on his way. He got stuck in court somewhere in the Tell City area and is on his way here, so I talked to him just a few minutes ago and he said he'd be a little bit late, but he will be here. So this is the part of the meeting that we open it up to the public to make a comment or ask a question. Nothing will be dealt with or be going under advisement. We'll talk at a future meeting about what your request is or act on it at a later date. So is there anybody that's got anything that's not on the agenda? Yes, ma'am.
I have several questions I actually need to put on the agenda, but my main concern here in Scott County is who pays for the animal shelter and the animal control, and why is there a difference between the Humane Society and the animal control? I just kind of like to know who's in charge of all that.
First of all, we don't have anything to do with the Humane Society. We do, and actually we really don't have anything to do with the animal shelter outside of.
It's animal control, it's not a shelter.
Well, animal control. We give the city, and somebody on the council, I know there's several here, we give the city money to help run the animal control, but they hire the people and they maintain it and everything else, but is that not correct?
Yeah.
I mean, we give the money to the county, or we give money from the county to the city of Scottsburg. The city of Scottsburg actually hires a person, buys the truck, buys the equipment. We just actually help fund that program, but it's not a county program. It's I guess it's a typical, maybe a Scottsburg technically. I mean, because we just have an MOU or a working relationship with them, and they, as I just said, they hire the person. He's an employee through them. We just give them money to help them run the program.
So Scottsburg City.
So you actually give the money to animal control?
No, it goes to the city of Scottsburg.
Yeah.
The city of Scottsburg runs that program, so.
City of Scottsburg manages it.
What about Austin? I mean, since it's
They chip in 25%. Scottsburg City pays 25%, and Scott County pays 50%.
So we really don't have control over how it's ran. We just help fund it. So that was one question.
Yeah, there's plenty more. Just sit and listen.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Okay. Representing the Scott County Plan Commission, you gentlemen have before you an end of the year report as well as a December report on activities. If you should have any questions, I'm open to answering anything.
When's our next area plan meeting?
January the 11th at 6 o'clock. Actually, it's 6:30.
What?
6:30, but you can come at 6.
All right.
We've got a Board of Zoning Appeals meeting prior to that, but it won't take too long.
Okay. Anybody got a question about her report? All right.
Thank you.
Building, I guess I will ask some. Is building permits still hot topic? Still up?
No.
So they fallen off some?
We are less 42 from 2021.
Okay.
That's my daughter.
All right. Well, I'm gonna entertain a motion because I think someone needs to leave early here. So I'm gonna entertain a motion to amend the agenda to move somebody.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Will we vote on the president before?
I guess we can. It's not on the agenda here. I know we're going to, but I guess we can do that. So is there anybody else that's got anything in the open session here that's got a question or anything? Don't do that. I thought you were raising your hand. Okay, well, I guess it's not on the agenda here, but we need to do it, so Randy just reminded me. We need to reorganize as a board here, so, before we start the meeting, so, it's not on the agenda, but I guess we need to amend the agenda, so I'm gonna entertain a motion to amend the agenda to put on, to reorganize our, board here, so.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
Randy makes a motion to amend the agenda to add the, reorganization of the Board of Commissioners. Randy, Greg? Greg second, and I'll make that unanimous, so. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion for, I guess, President of the Board of Commissioners. So is there any nominations?
I'll nominate you. I'll nominate Mike Jones.
I'll second that.
So Randy nominates me and Greg seconds that. So, I think because I'm not gonna vote, so I guess we'll call it to a vote, so, Randy, how you vote?
I vote for Mike to be president of the Board of Commissioners.
Greg?
I vote for Mike Jones, president as well, so I'll second that.
Alright, so, nominations closed, and I guess I'm president of the board again for the next year, so I'll entertain a motion now for a nomination for the vice president of the Board of Commissioners. So, I'll entertain a motion for vice president.
I'll make a motion to nominate Randy Julian.
Greg's made a motion to entertain a motion for Randy Julian to be vice president of the board, and I'm sure Randy's not gonna vote, so I'll second that. So again, we need to vote, call a vote, so, Greg, how do you vote?
I vote for Randy Julian, yes.
And I'll second that, I'll vote as well for Randy, so, I guess, Randy, you're vice president of the Scott County Board of Commissioners, so.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, now moving on, since now we're technically official. I'm gonna entertain a motion to amend the agenda, just the time-wise, moving somebody up, because they have to leave. So, we're gonna move Denise Vaughn, portion of the agenda to be first, so, and then everybody else will fall behind that, so.
You can stay where you're at if it hurts.
I need a motion to amend the
Oh, I'm
agenda.
sorry. I'll second that motion. Or I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to move Denise Vaughn up to the beginning of the agenda.
I'll second that one.
Okay, Randy makes a motion to change the agenda time-wise. Randy seconds that, or Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous, so. All right, now we're back to you, so. We talked about this last year, probably talked about it at the beginning of the year before, but, of considering Denise Vaughn for a full-time position at the VA. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, your hours now are like 28 hours or something?
21 hours a week.
21, so, we talked about increasing that to a full-time position because of, I guess, responsibilities and actually timing with people wanting to meet with you, and your time just doesn't suffice for that. So I will ask you this so that people know again, and I know that number's changed to this date, but how much have you, or the VA, how much has the VA brought into Scott County veterans?
The last GDX that was published was for 2021, and the last number was $15.1 million.
So your office has brought to Scott County veterans, $15 million plus, so.
Yes, sir, for fiscal year 20, or for year 2021.
And that's number surely has went up since
Absolutely.
that year anyways, because So anyway, Randy, you got anything you wanna say about, this? I know we talked about it, I know there's council here again, but I don't know how you guys voted in a meeting to fund it? Okay. So that answers that question, cause I knew we voted on it, went to you guys when you were doing your budget stuff, and then you guys, had that choice, but I didn't know how you ended up doing it, so it is funded. Okay.
One thing I'd like to say is, a lot of people have contacted us, or me anyway, from the military community, and, have really bragged about you and said what a great job you done. And, it's my honor to put you,
It's my honor to serve the veterans of Scott County. It's a very underserviced population in the rural areas, and it's about time veterans know they've got somebody on their side that's willing to fight for them, not against them. So it's my honor.
absolutely. And, so there's one question we probably need to cover, the Blissmaker or department head. How does that work?
I would, I don't know, it's something we probably need to ask our attorney, but I would venture to say if the department has a full-time and a part-time position, the full-time person would be the person that would be
Automatically, right?
would be the head of the department, I would assume, and he would, we could ask him that question later, but I would assume that, I would not think that you'd be an equal to a part-time position and wouldn't think that the part-time position would be the guy that would be over you, so, but we'll clarify that, but Randy, you got any questions or comments?
No, I don't.
Greg, you got any?
No, thank you.
So I'll entertain a motion to, approve, Denise Vaughn for the full-time position with the VA. And I'm sure it will go back to the council do you have to have does the council, I keep looking at Lindy, but does the council have a job description that would have to be changed because of that?
I believe so, yeah,
Because it goes from the way I think that read in the past, it said 21 hours. And you would have to change the job description to be a full-time position, and then also talk about the benefits as well, so our vote here is to consider a full-time position to go to the council, for the council to approve it as well, and they would have to, it'd be their responsibility, I think, to create the job description that they would need to have, so I'll entertain that motion.
So I'd like to make the motion to move, Denise Vaughn from a part-time position to a full-time position at the, Veterans Affairs.
Randy has made a motion to change our VA to one position to a full-time position and leave the other one as a part-time. So Randy's made that motion. Greg?
I'll second that.
Greg seconds that motion, and I'll make that unanimous. So again, I know veterans know where you're at, but also, again, I want to thank you and appreciate the money that the veterans are getting because of your guys' office, because, like you said, some of them would never apply for stuff, and when you get out there and tell people that they have resources and money that they can utilize, it's a big deal. So again, I thank you, and the board thanks you for your service, and hopefully, with some more hours, you can serve some more people. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you.
All right, Nick, actually, no, sorry, Kevin. You were hiding, I didn't see you. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. So, I got one topic here that's been on the hot seat today, so we'll throw Greg right in the mix of it. Bowman Road, there's water over it. Austin doesn't have a gate on their end, so they drive around and come to the county end, who has a gate. I guess,
I thought we talked to the city of Austin and they were supposed to put a new gate on there.
yeah, I don't guess they have the funding for it, but, we received a lot of calls at the highway department today. They're driving through there and then getting to our end and getting stuff. I guess one thing I was gonna throw out to you guys, and we ain't got to decide this tonight or nothing like that, just, the county has a gate that is out on Finley Firehouse Road. I think that was gonna be closed once upon a time. Maybe we even did close it for a short time, then
Talking about
DNR.
the one right at the end that
Yes, and it's not used, it stays open all the time, because, to my understanding, the DNR wouldn't let us shut it down because they have property back there, public property back there. Might be a suggestion to think about either selling it to the city, or
Or just
donating
putting
it
it
to
up.
the city, or just putting it up, or however you wanna handle it.
Well, when we replaced the one that got destroyed, where somebody tried to drive over top of it, do we not, that one's still not, I know we ordered two heavy
So
duty.
you have one in place now on Bowman Road, it's heavy duty, and then there's also one heavy duty one that's on Finley Firehouse Road that's not getting used. I don't foresee it being used, at least for now. But it's on city end of the road where we would need to put it, so it really wouldn't be county road per se.
Well, so I guess I'm gonna ask a question, and this is, I guess touchy, is, has the city been contacted and they've told you flat out that they don't have the money to pay for a gate?
Yeah, yeah, pretty well. I talked to Shane, their street superintendent, today. They put farm gates up and they run them over just as fast as they can put them up. And he has cones and he has signs. I mean, they're doing
So
their
they're
due
driving
diligence,
around.
they're just driving around them. Yeah.
Kevin, we used to have gates, I think we had some gates maybe at one time, did he put any up on 256?
Once upon a time, like, they got tore out.
So, I mean, I don't know, at some point, we're gonna have to find a solution. I know some years ago, the county ventured down with a federal program to raise that road. I know the expenses, they started getting very expensive at that time.
Sure.
And they bailed out. So at some point, I think we're gonna have to address this only because, I think over the years, we've kind of gotten probably, I know there has been some incidents out there. I know from the state level, we've struggled out in that bottom area on 256, 39, and those, low areas. When I say struggle, I mean even the point of having fatalities.
Right.
So at some point, we need to come up with a solution for that. Now, intermediate wise, gates are cheap.
Right.
And so, I don't know everybody's thoughts on that, but, I'm all for putting a gate out there. But again, that's something, you got a man that's tough too, and working with emergency services to make sure everybody understands when that road's closed. But, it's a low area and it's a tough place,
So at Finley Firehouse, is that a heavy duty gate like the one that?
Yeah.
The two, so we had two made, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it's
not
sitting where it's
sitting
not
where
even
it's-
being used, so I would, at this point, I don't know what Randy's thoughts process is, but I think right now, we're gonna be in the rainy season, up until, May anyway. I'd move it and I'd put it on that end, and right now, at least temporarily, until we can either get funding for it or whatever, but you're right, if we have a gate that is on the dry side of the other part of the road and they're driving all the way through the water to get to the dry part, it's kind of a waste.
Okay.
But I will say this, and Randy can attest, that we, on Main Street out here, when we had problems at the bridge,
Mhm.
we had cones and barricades and everything else, and people were driving around them to come to the bridge that we were closing. And it was a dangerous situation, quite honestly. And we ended up having to pour I think 2 dump trucks full of gravel on the road with riffraff so that they wouldn't drive around it. I mean,
Right.
so, you know, I posted something where you guys had posted the road was closed, and I stressed to people that don't drive around the barricades for multiple reasons. One, you could die. Second one, you could kill somebody in the car that's with you. Third, you could kill a fireman that's coming to get you, because we're gonna have to go out and get you and bring you to safety. And the other part, that it's against the law. We do have a law and an ordinance in this county that says if you drive around a barricade and we have to come get you, you're gonna get fined, and you're gonna have a ticket assessed to you. So, that doesn't stop people from doing it. So,
Okay.
I don't know what these other 2 guys wanna do, but right now, if we got a gate that we could utilize, I'd say go get the gate and put it there, and we'll figure out later, so.
Well, I think it's a public service, and, you know, if somebody lives in Austin, they still belong to Scott County.
Right.
So, if we can legally give the gate, yeah, I mean, and that's my opinion, if we can legally give the gate to Austin, under the, pretense that they go ahead and put the gate up, then we can just give them the gate. If we can't legally give the gate to them, because sometimes there's a little bit of leeway in there, I'd say we probably sell it to them for $1.
Well, we can talk to Zach about it and we'll work it out. No,
He'll be here in a little bit.
we know. All right, so that's just been kind of
So
a
what, I guess
big subject.
the
today.
question of the one out of Finley, DNR, we put it out there, but DNR doesn't want us to shut it. And I've been down that road, cause we did a swift water rescue.
You know,
out
I
there in the
honestly don't know the whole background, the whole story of it, because it was before me, but to my understanding is, we shut that road down, and there's actually DNR public property, and there's a private piece of property owned by a guy back there, so
Yeah.
we can't really shut it down.
Well, that's-
Although the road itself belongs to the DNR to take care of supposedly.
So
Yeah.
when was this?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time ago. I'll dig into it and kind of get an answer.
It's a
Oh,
long,
no, it doesn't matter, I'm just
it's
curious.
down off Thomastown Road where
Yeah, the
DNR went
gate's
in
open
there.
now, right?
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
I just go get it, 'cause
And-
it's
and-
not doing any good out there.
You know, I'll have to talk to you about, there's still a bridge that's on our inventory that's on that road that we need to get off, but that's a whole different avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say go ahead and get the gate, and we can talk to,
We'll get
Zach
the
on how to
details hammered out there.
be able to deliver it.
What else you got?
Next one is, I talked to Randy, maybe I talked to another one, I can't remember, but, the Tri-Hawk property, we was wanting to see if it's a possibility that we could use the property to stockpile dirt, and possibly just brush to burn. I talked to a few of the firemen there, and I thought we could probably do controlled burns there. Right now, we're taking it out to the landfill, which it's kind of there after we do that.
Well, actually, we're gonna try to figure something out there.
Yeah, so we need to look at a different avenue. Of course, we can't just stack it up the shop because there isn't much room. And the dirt, I bought several loads of dirt this year because we give it away and we don't ever have no dirt. So, if we could use the property, put a little lane in there, probably clean it up, get it bush hogged, just a thought.
So is there an area that's not being farmed?
Yeah, I think we could
You could utilize that?
utilize an area that, I mean, we're not gonna take the prime ground or anything.
Well, and I'll be honest, I think we, as the commissioners, allowed, somebody to dump some dirt there while they were working on 31.
Oh, okay.
And then they came back and cleaned it all up, and the contractor out there asked us if he could put stuff there and then he'd clean it back up after he was done. I think that all happened, so, I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
Well, I think it's a good move.
Greg?
Yeah.
Good enough. We'll put a little road into there to use it. The next thing I was just gonna briefly give me an update on your bridges.
Or hurries here.
I know. It's not one good stuff.
talk fast.
Just give you a quick update on the bridges. This is 105, which is the Main Street Bridge down there. So we are running a little bit further behind on what I was hoping we would on that. But we're in the right-of-way process right now, which was sent to Zach. So we're gonna wait on that, and we're still waiting for some IDNR permitting. Looks like maybe 120, that'll be back. And then we're still having some utility issues on,
Duke?
well, yeah, they're gonna move them, but timeline-wise, we might have some issues with them. We're still hoping maybe to get it out in the next couple months for bid. But the construction may get a little delayed. We're kind of at Duke's mercy on it right now. We're hoping to move it a little bit.
You just have to stay on,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, they've got better. It went from a year to maybe 4 months, but that's been in November. So we're still hoping that we'll be on top of the list. The big issue was the type of lines those was. They was gonna have to move them out permanently, which is gonna require us to buy some permanent right of way off Lytle. And then we're gonna buy some temporary right of way on the other side to set the beams and everything.
They got 7 tall or something.
They did 25 foot out, direct 90, and then about 500 feet, 25 foot out, and direct 90 back in, because they're high voltage and they have to get it out. Technically, it probably should have been done like that when they first put the poles in, to get around that structure, because we don't know it's gonna be replaced at some point, but it wasn't. So anyway, that's the process it's in. It's moving along. 104, which would be the Getty Road high wall bridge, it's still in the hydraulic study design phase to see if it's gonna be a typical design build, or if it's gonna be what I would kind of like to see is the arch structure. So they're still working on the hydraulics to see what we can come up with. And then 100, which is on the Reed Road, it's pretty well ready to go. We're gonna do some of it on annual bids. The county's gonna do a little work themselves on that. We're gonna pave it, and haul the material off and haul the rock in and work on annual bids. It's a small structure. It's barely 19, maybe 20 at the best. To drive the cost down on it. We're gonna straighten the road up a little bit, so they're all moving along, but not quite there yet.
How much are we paying for, Mr. Lytle's?
That'll probably, something I'll have to touch base with Zach on. It's all budgeted in, it's nothing that's gonna cost beyond what we already know.
Okay.
It's just appraisal value though, I think.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what we have to pay. I don't know. Yeah, pretty much though. That's what I do.
Okay.
So, and the other side just gonna be more of for the use of it type thing.
Sounds good.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Zach's here, you wanna try to get the answer for the gate?
I would.
Uh,
I would.
A gate, yeah. Fill you in real quick. The county owns a gate that's on a different road. We're having problems on people going through a city road into the county where we gate ours off. And, we're basically wanting to give it to the city of Austin to,
Give the maintenance of the road?
no,
No.
the
Just
gate
the
itself, yeah.
They have there's a floodplain between the city of Austin and the county property. They used to have a gate up there, but somebody drove over top of it with a 4-wheel drive truck and they didn't replace it. Well, we got ours shut on the other side, but theirs is open. We have a gate that is not being utilized right now.
Oh, you want to give
We
them a
want to
gate
give them
for
the
theirs.
gate.
give the city of
To
Austin
block
a gate.
the other entrance, because they're driving through high water to get to dry land where our gate's not letting them through it.
You might be able to do like a interlocal agreement and transfer, I think, is Josh Stigman the attorney for Austin?
I believe so.
Okay, I can reach out to him.
Okay, and I'll reach out to them. I haven't said nothing, but I knew we could maybe do that before. today.
But they can't drive over this gate. So,
It stopped.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Now, Nick. See you guys.
Thanks for coming.
See you, Bob. Really need that.
Huh? That? What's wrong with those? I don't need stress, but I have a lot of it.
Do you supply these to the council?
Sir,
Do you supply these to the council?
similar.
Okay.
Oh, you want one?
Huh?
All right. First things first, I'm sure the thing that everybody's most interested in, is our financials. Finished December just shy of 160,000. And then we finished the year in the training department at 28,000 for training and another 40,000 for paramedic. And then we finished the service. We actually somehow, I know I talked to you guys last time, thought I'd be a little bit shy of my goal of 1.6. We actually eclipsed it just a little bit at 1.602. So that brings us a grand total, that brought us to a grand total of 1.602 million for income for the year. If you look between 21 and 22 on there, 21 was at 1.413, this year was at 1.602, for a difference of $189,036.83. So that's a 13% increase in that year. Our runs are down 8%. 21 finished with 5,080. This year we finished with 4,701. So there's a difference of 379 runs there. The biggest thing is that we did, you ended the year at 21 with a $179,000 cash ledger. We ended this year at 411,000 plus the December deposits that haven't obviously rolled over yet, and that's a 228% increase. So, any questions about our runs, financials, or any of that?
Well, I know I've said it, we've said past meetings, but I appreciate, the big turnaround at the EMS department. I'm sure, everybody else says, and it went to the point where I was getting multiple calls every day, and now I think they lost my number because they don't call anymore, so.
Good.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure, I know most of the councils here, and I'm sure they appreciate that work as well, so.
Hopefully. Any questions about any of that from any of you guys? No.
Good job, though.
I will say this, I mean, I know you probably don't have a report or can even do that, but, you know, a lot of people don't understand that when you go for a 911 call, it doesn't always mean you're going to, and you bill for that run, or a transfer for that matter, but most transfers are
They're paid
you
more
can
than
pay.
that. Yep.
But if you run to someone's house and you use all your equipment and you take them to the hospital, a lot of times you don't get paid for that.
Look, we're at about
Either-
52% collection.
And that's where I was getting at, is that a lot of people don't understand, they think you get paid every time you go out, sometimes, so you're saying that for every run, or for every 4,701 runs, 50% of those you're gonna get paid for,
52% is our collection rate this year.
so.
And that, I mean, but that's dealing with Medicare, Medicaid, they're obviously, you know, fixed pricing and stuff like
But then a
that.
lot of times it's people that don't have insurance.
Don't have insurance,
And
or,
they're either gonna pay it out of pocket or they don't pay it.
or
They pay a
that,
percent.
you know, if they, you know, pay some of it, but not all of it, and they have an outstanding balance, that's all equated into there.
I just want people to know that
Yep.
4,700 runs doesn't equal that
Yeah, I mean,
4,700
Out of the
runs
40,
with money.
out of the 4,700 that we did, about 3,600 of them were billable. Because, you know, we don't, a lot of them, 347 of them were canceled or false runs, meaning we went en route, we used the fuel, and then at some point before we got there, we were canceled. So, I mean, there's runs like that, or and another 614 were AMAs or lift assists, where they didn't go to the hospital, or they were just calling for us to go, pick them up
Check
or do whatever, check them out and go over them. So between those two figures, that's 1,000 runs. So the other two sets of the ALS and BLS are transports.
Okay. I just want people to know that, so that, they're not looking at, hey, you could have billed for 4,701 run, or you're billing for them, but you're not collecting for those. so.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Second thing, it's not on this, I just wanted to give this to Zach, because I've had a hectic 10 days and I have not been able to email him. But it's in your packets as well. I know last time we talked about the Kelly thing, and he wanted something kind of typed up as a addendum to possibly send to, I don't remember their acronym, Wagner, Irwin, and
Irwin and Shealy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to get that process rolling. I know this is nothing, I just didn't want to give it to the auditor to send up there before you guys had a chance to look at it or change verbiage or.
And because it would be a carve out in the personnel handbook specifically for EMS, I mean, even assuming Irwin Shealy approved the draft, commissioners would have to approve it, and then council
Yes, sir.
would have to do their own separate.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that's something I could get the ball rolling on, send to them to approve, to take back to them and as well as the council. So, I didn't know. if
So
that
do we
was-
have to,
I don't know.
didn't we act on the Kelly thing
I
last
thought we
time?
did.
You did, you said that it was fine.
You said it was fine for him to move forward on
The verbiage and,
the verbiage
Oh,
for.
so we're
but
waiting for it to come back.
In order to amend the handbook, usually I would prefer to run that by Shealy, kind of like our de facto HR, and then,
come back to you.
any amendment to the personnel policy for the county, even if it's just a carve out for a specific department, has to be approved by commissioners and council separately.
I just wanted to make sure you guys are okay with sending this to Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I might like define long week a little differently.
Okay.
Like, or a little more specifically.
The Sunday when, okay.
Cause I don't know if that's defined anywhere in the employee handbook.
Okay.
So like, if we needed some explanation for
Okay.
how, when it qualifies to be used, but.
Okay. Alright. That was just a little housekeeping. Alright, last thing, I'm sure, you as well as the council behind me will love this. I know that we've been talking about this for about a month now, about the truck situation. We don't really have a truck situation. You potentially have a truck situation, looking in the future. I had brought the quotes and, I won't say quotes because they're not specific vehicles because there's nothing out there to buy right now. It was just price ranges of what they're going for. I would just like, some conversation or, advisement on what you think our plan of action can be or what, we can do, if anything, to proceed with this, because out of the emails that I got earlier this week, it's not getting any better. We're already looking into 2025 if you don't go with the demo.
So I guess one question I had, if we, and I'm not saying we are, I'm just saying hypothetically, if we buy an ambulance, and it's this repo that, or not repo, but a demo that's going to be available at the end of '23. Are we selling an ambulance off?
No,
Is
so,
one dropping off, or what's?
so if you would like to get in the game of, remounting instead of continually purchasing new, with the lead times that we're experiencing now, we have to have an extra. 5 years ago when we remounted, they could have them done in 2 to 3 months, and it was, you could make buy, we borrowed trucks and stuff like that to get that buy when we would remount trucks. Now, when you're looking at 2-year lead times, we can't go down to be down a truck. So, what my advisement, for what it's worth, would be to perfect world, again, scenario would be to buy one of these demos. And then the second thing to do to save quite a bit of money is that 16 that I've talked about, that's got 124,000 miles on it. Send that up to be upfit to get current. And that would be at a fraction of the price. Instead of buying a $350,000 truck, you can upfit it for about 120 to 130 to get it current with COVID and all that stuff. That would get you 2 ambulances for the price of like 1.5. And then you could start the remount process where you would take our oldest truck in the line, send it to not the manufacturer, but one of the dealers. They would take it off the chassis, put it on a new chassis, re-weld everything, upfit to current standards, and then send it back. And when you're doing that, you're looking at that 180 to 220 range instead of, again, 350. So, but to get in that rotation of doing remounts, we at this point, we would have to have an extra truck. As many times that we're running 4 trucks, which is becoming almost the norm here lately, we can't be down 2-4 because then I have no reserve.
What's an upfit?
So the thing that we could do with, that you talking about what I referenced on here to the one out back?
Yeah, cause you're saying an upfit would be
So an upfit-
125,000.
Yep, so that upfit keeps the current chassis and keeps the current box. They're not taking the box off and putting it on a new chassis. You're keeping the same drive line, same drive train, same box, same everything. But, a lot of the AC and heat in it is outdated and no longer NSHTA and KKK standards specific. It won't pass to get into a medic unit, if you will, that's in rotation. That's why it's our reserve unit. So you could. You would send it up there to get the COVID air filtration stuff, get all that stuff current. So what they're doing is you're kind of put new paint on it, because I mean the paint's down to the aluminum box and all that. You're just restoring it, if you will, to being more current with what's going on. Because like that truck's got outdated inverter in it to where it won't power some of our supplies now. It's still got halogen bulbs in it, which doesn't seem like a big deal until you're running them a lot and it drains the batteries. So there's a lot of outdated equipment in that truck that won't really allow us, like the charging system on it won't charge all of us.
So, but as far as the mechanics of say the motor or whatever, it's not refreshing any of that, it's just.
And the reason I'm comfortable extending that truck is because that's one that when I was here before, they ended up putting a transmission in. So that's got a Jasper transmission in it. So the transmission's probably got 20 to 30,000 miles on it. So.
What motor is that?
6.6 Duramax.
What year is the truck we went there, you know?
The truck that we would remount in 24 would be a 19 or 20, might be a 20.
And to explain to people, when you're talking about a remount, you're talking about taking the box off the back and put a new chassis, which has the new motor and everything else, so. I just want people to know what you're talking about when you're talking about remounts.
So I know they brought it here. Some of the people came out to look at the demo that they brought. It was bright red, obviously, but other than that, it would be the sister truck to that. That's the one, if I had an opinion in the matter, that I'd like to pursue, just because for the money and what you get and the availability of it, I think it's the best course of action. But again, that's just my opinion on the, budgetary and investment part of it and the best avenue to proceed with. But again, I'm just kind of here to advise.
The question I have, and it's been brought to my attention, is that, is there other players out there, other manufacturers that manufacture ambulances? And I know you're not getting.
So, yes.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I mean, sometimes it's not apples to apples, and.
It's not, and so here's the thing with ambulance sales. It's not like a Ford, GM, Mitsubishi, whatever.
Well, I buy fire trucks too, so I know what.
So, there's one dealer that is in Elkhart, who we used in the past quite consistently. They are Demir's dealer. There's also a dealer in Ohio that has this demo that is also a Demers dealer, but they cannot sell to me because the other dealer has rights in the state. So that's the problem with ambulance sales, is just because they sell it doesn't mean they can sell to me. I've got no problem going with the other dealer, except they have 0 demos coming in, 0. So we're looking at 2025 minimum, and it's a truck we'd have to build.
I guess where I'm getting at is that if we're gonna buy, and I know ambulances and fire trucks are different, but if you're gonna come and buy, I guess, a ambulance, I would like to see more than one quote of, hey, if somebody else got something.
That's what I had brought before. The thing is, the one dealer has nothing to quote. You'd have to build it, and that would be the quote. But like what I'm saying is, I can't build the same truck with Elkhart as I can Ohio, because they can't sell me the same truck.
I get that.
So that's the problem with this.
But is there other players that aren't in the same company that
So
sell?
each time you switch company, you're switching what you're getting. So like I can go to Osage out of Missouri, but their standards, or they're not standards, their standard equipment will be different than that Demers. And that Demers will be different than that Braun. I mean, you're just getting into a, you know, if you're gonna spec them out the same, you're gonna be adding features on one truck that you aren't gonna add on another because it comes standard, and you're gonna have to add more on another because it doesn't. So, I mean, that's the problem with building these is, you know, well, this has got 10 more line items. Well, that's because this one comes standard with it and this one doesn't. You know, I've got the quotes, if you will, from Elkhart. I've got the quotes from Bencare. Those are the 2 that could get me anything remotely soon, and I mean within 16 months. Everybody else is out from there.
Randy, you got any questions?
You said it has 125,000 on it?
Between 120 and 130, I don't want to tell you exact, but I know it's less than 130.
What's the resale value on that thing right now?
$8,000. That's why to me, I don't want to get rid of something for $8,000 that
No.
it's going to cost me
No, that makes
$350 to replace.
Well, and it's still a viable.
Yep.
And it's $125,000 to upfit.
That could get us another 2 to 3 years out of it. You know, and even the way I look at it with that one is, even doing that, if we're putting that in and a motor does go, it's what, 8 to 10 grand for a Jasper motor, as opposed to another 350. I'm just trying to get up where we need to be and not spend a boatload of money.
I get it, I'm trying to.
I'd love to sit here
do
and
the
tell you,
math here
yeah.
on,
I'd love to sit here and tell you I'd love 2 new demos, but I don't think that's realistic.
is it, there only one company can do the upfit? That does upfits?
So there's only one company that will do the upfit for, there's only one deal, because it has to go to the dealer that
The
box,
ambulance company?
that has that box. So it'd have to go back to someone that I can buy Braun from. Unless we just negate all of Braun's stuff out of there, and then we can go with whoever, but
And the price goes up.
then they're doing more wiring and more stuff. That's the problem with ambulance sales. Like, just like, you know, you can't send an E1 to Pierce to get fixed. We can't send a Braun to Demers to get fixed. It has to go.
I'm satisfied that the transmission's all right, I'm satisfied that the motor, 125,000 miles, unless somebody's just being crazy with it, it's good to go. But you got a lot of other components there, I need some time to think about that.
I'm just here to.
You're not wanting an answer tonight, are you?
I just,
I know you'd prefer one.
that'd be amazing, but,
Not if it's new.
I'm trying to, yeah, you can keep that to yourself. I'm trying to prevent getting in the situation that you guys got into 3 years ago, buying 5 trucks.
Right, no, I get it.
And
there's nothing wrong
I'm not
with it.
trying to say this in a do this or lose it way at all, because I'm indifferent about it, because if we go down, and that's no longer on me. But if you don't make a decision soon, these demos are gonna be gone, and then you are waiting until 25 or 26 to get a truck. And at that point, you're no longer replacing one, you're replacing 3 minimum at
No, I get
350,000
that.
plus whatever that.
I get that, but I'm talking about spending 125,000.
That's, I wanna
Yeah,
do that,
yeah.
I don't wanna do that till after we get, I can't do that till after we get another vehicle.
Yeah,
Yeah, the upfit is end of year stuff, see where we're at. I was trying to do that to prevent buying 2 new trucks. I was doing that as a reasonable compromise.
I get that.
Cause I mean, I can, if you'd like, I can come in here and ask for 2 demos. But
Why not ask for 4?
it worked once.
so we stay in the same shape that we're in now.
Yeah, and I'd like to, if we don't get on some type of rotation, you're gonna constantly be in that replacing 4 or 5 trucks for $1.5 million at a time.
And that was the issue I had with the purchase last time, was that now we have every one of them on,
Expiring at the same time. So you have to get ahead of this or you're gonna be expiring at the same time. I don't say you have to,
We just need a plan to be able to start a rotation
Yeah,
but,
to where, you
because we need
know,
to be able to forecast the service needs
Cause-
in
yeah.
the council, so.
and that's the thing is I gotta go to them and get it approved and advertise and all this. And if we wait and then March comes around, these demos are gone. They started with 17, they got 7 left.
Did the council give you, the $80,000 that you got from selling the ambulance? The last ambulance?
That was out of redevelopment.
it went back to
So it went back to
redevelopment.
redevelopment.
And then
They
that
came
got
back.
reappropriated to me to
To
catch
use
it.
some
That's
of
how we paid for that striker stuff,
That's right. That's right.
which is another thing that has to be considered.
That's, how much do we still owe them?
310,
And that's it's on a 3-year payout, wasn't it?
Yep.
We paid one payment?
155 is what we paid.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'd love some type of answer, at least guidance of what I can pursue next. Obviously, I'm not asking you to sign anything tonight. I feel like we need to be on the same page at a minimum of what either A, to expect, or what B is feasible, because, like I said, if you don't make a decision soon, then like I said, we're looking 2 years out to where everything's expiring at the same time again.
The,
'Cause 2 of my trucks are already approaching 100,000 miles on gas motors.
Can you wait two more weeks?
2 more weeks?
There's,
For your decision, yeah, but then it extends it another month for the council, cause they gotta advertise.
probably
And
2 weeks after that.
Yep, so then it's a month and a half at that point. I mean, I'm at your mercy, so I'm not gonna say no.
yeah, but
We,
we have money coming in from, settlements,
And
opioid
that's-
settlements,
Mhm.
and I have some questions about how much money can be spent where and what on, and we're supposed to have a meeting coming up, tomorrow.
tomorrow night.
I will be there.
So I would like to find that answer out before I give an answer.
I work for the 3 of you, so I'm obviously at your mercy. I'm just trying to
How much,
move.
I understand.
how much of a down deposit, or a down payment, I guess, or a deposit, or whatever?
Typically 10%.
So, Tim, if we decide to do this, to lock it in with the demo,
35K,
we'd have to pay 35,000 up front,
typically.
and then wait for January 1 of 2024, or maybe a little bit earlier than that.
It would probably be, he told me on this one, it would be that September timeframe, August,
So
September
we're talking
timeframe.
September, October to,
Pay the rest,
to pay the balance.
correct.
So, okay. Greg, you got any questions or thoughts, or?
No, not right now. I'll probably come see you soon and take a look at some of that.
But I know we're in a
Pickle,
pickle of sort, we have good equipment.
Yep.
But the problem is, all that good equipment's gonna come,
I'm just trying to
they're
forecast.
gonna,
Yeah, it doesn't
it's
take
all,
this
it's all
long
gonna
forever.
come at the same time, and quite honestly, years past with other people at the service, we always was on some sort of rotation,
Yep.
and that rotation got thrown out of whack, so
Yep, and that's, all I'm trying to do is get
I
reforecasted.
get that. All right, let us think about it, and,
I will have the same conversation in 2 weeks.
No, you've already spoken.
Thank you. Any questions or anything I can do for you, gentlemen?
Nope.
No, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Well, let's look. Cease Scott County Partnership and Thrive. Hello. Hello.
Oh my goodness. These chairs are like, there's no room in between.
Shove that one out. Shove that. There you go. All right. Although I probably know why you're here.
We wanted to say hi to Greg,
Yeah.
and hi to Jennifer. It's nice to meet you. I think that's all we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Thanks for coming in.
one of you guys are missing, but wasn't there a couple more of you?
Yeah, so our chair has changed because our executive committee changes every year, so our chair's not here tonight.
Okay. All right, so I guess if you guys.
I can start, so, last time whenever we came and presented to you, the three different proposals, or three different proposals that all work together, I guess, I don't wanna put it that way. There were some concerns in the Cease proposal about Pulse Point. So I went back to Dr. Yezel and talked to Dr. Yezel in Clark County, and, so they've not had a lawsuit, but they had the same concerns that you all had expressed about, the liability and what that looks like for the county. And so they're working, trying to figure that out. So realistically, the way that we could implement Pulse Point is the way that they're doing it in Clark County, and that wouldn't be beneficial, like that doesn't meet the need that we have here. So we took that part out of the proposal. The overall goal of that is to reduce overdose deaths. And so instead, we put in a part where, I know you're aware, but for the others, we started overdose fatality review. And we had our first review in December, and we'll continue to review those cases, looking for trends and programs that we can put in place to reduce the overdose fatalities. So instead, we replaced the Pulse Point aspect with some funding set aside from the opioid settlement to be able to reduce the overdose fatalities based on what we found there. So that's the change that we have from our plan. So taking out Pulse Point actually reduced our overall proposal, so that would bring us down to 81,800 out of that 456 abatement share. So, and those are the funds that should have been received earlier in December. So we'll be here tomorrow.
I'm gonna knock on wood. I don't think we've ever had anybody come here and say, hey, we're gonna reduce our loan.
Well, and the Pulse Point had a lot of extra components
He's
with the
gonna
ADs.
I think Clark County only ever implemented like the Pulse Point Pro
They did
side of it. I don't
no,
know
they
if
only
they-
did the basic,
the
so the
which-
basic
Which is
side.
not the,
Layman's.
that's a group of like specialized people who are already
It's
trained.
all specialized training.
Yeah.
So that's, so both would be. The difference is that the basic plan that they're using is where that push notification only goes out if the overdose happens in a public location.
Right.
So like if
That's
someone
nice.
is in Dollar
Right.
General or Sunoco or whatever else, then the push notification would go out. I've looked at the death certificate of every single one of our overdose fatalities over the last 16 months,
They're not.
and they're all in private residences.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense for our county, and so what they're trying to figure out is a way to enter private residences, because that is with that pro version.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't make sense for our county. Now, if they can figure out something or legislation changes in the state, that may be something to look at in the future, but it's just not realistic right now.
Yeah, you can.
So how much are you asking for now?
So,
81,000.
the plan is over 3 years, but like the first year, so what the funds that you all already have is $81,800. And then in 2023, with that disbursement, it would be 49,600. And then in 2024, it would also be 49,600. And then I also have, just so you all know, like I included our annual update, we were hoping to have our annual report ready, but we don't have it, so I will make sure to send that out as soon as we have it formally, but we have the presentation, I printed it out for you all to look at, just so you have an idea of what successes we've had, like what areas we still have for potential growth, and some different information about the breakdown of these organizations, because we represent 39 different organizations, so I can give this, I don't know if you want me to give it down to her. I know you guys already have a copy of the new plans.
So is that just the plan with your reduction on it? Okay.
Yeah, so that's the only change, and then I've just added those extra documents, and we'll send the other stuff out when we have it.
Might as well hand it to him, he's gonna try to get it.
Thursday, yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, we've moved it to the hospital conference room A.
So when is that?
There.
Okay.
Cease, the Cease meeting is the first Thursday of every month, so that's tomorrow from 12 to 1, and then, yeah, the Zoom link. Did you get the Zoom link? It should have gone out Monday. If not,
I got an email,
Okay.
I'll look at it again, I'm sure it's on there,
Okay.
it usually is.
Yeah.
So, did we ever plan the other one?
The other, overdose fatality review is next on the 25th. It's in the same place, the conference room A at the Scott Memorial Hospital, and that's 12:30 to 2:30.
Alright,
And I know you've got a meeting tomorrow, so.
yeah,
But you all didn't have any.
We don't have any changes.
so yours is, still the request is still the same?
Yeah, it is.
So did you tell him how
She
much?
told
you
me
were
everything.
I did.
We all met.
So,
Lots of
right now, I'm
times. We're
just
kind of
joking.
sick of each other at this point, so if you could just,
I'm
let
just
us
joking
know.
about it.
Thank you for that. So, I actually, upped mine to 54,000. No, actually what I did is, Randy, you asked for a more, breakdown budget of the request, and the evidence-based piece with the research of what peer recovery coaching is. So what I did, I got everybody a packet here. Also, I sent down the breakdown as well to you all last year. Here, I'll give you a copy. So nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Hey, they really like me.
He doesn't know it.
But, and then I also know that, you know, I was coming for the one-time ask, right? I know there's more funding coming. I've actually heard from the state, you may have heard it too, Mike, that they're actually looking to move the 16-year plan out to a 10-year and move some more of that money. And there was also some more money coming down from the Walgreens, Walmart, and the CVS lawsuit. But, so that was a $300,000 ask. And I do remember, Mike saying, when people throw out 300,000, it kind of just seems like a number. You are correct. I was $10 off. So,
You can round down.
I did, actually. I round down to the request of being, now, I hope you all know, when I put this proposal together, this is my wish list for Scott County with this opioid settlement money, to really kind of get the
This isn't
pieces.
wide enough.
Yeah, to get the piece for Scott County to have all the resources available to cover the gap services of what's going on with our community and our population. So if you look in your packet past the National Association of Mental Health and Public Directors about their research paper that they had, in the right-hand side of your folder, I have the first request for the 299, 990,000, okay? That gives you a complete breakdown of what those expenses are. It's on the right side, yep. That first piece, Randy, with the Thrive logo shows you kind of what the abatement, the scope of work is from the abatement chairs.
Okay.
And then the other one shows you, what our reoccurring would be, so for sustainability. And then the last page in that packet will show you how we're gonna have that sustainability, and what that would look like. So, also on the right-hand side of your packet, I have 4 different letters of support, that I included as well. One is from, the CEO of Scott Memorial, Martin Pageant. We've been working with him for the last few years. He supports our initiative and what we're doing. The health department here in Scott County from Michelle Matern, John Crosdale, who is the medical director inside the emergency department, of course, in the hospital. And then I have one from Dr. Yazel, who's not only the medical director for Life Springs, he's also now the director, oh, Nick's gone, for the state EMS and also for Clark County Health Department. We've had a great relationship with them. We've been working with them for the last few years. So I did get some letters of support, just kind of to show you the initiative that we're working on. So with that being said, Randy also asked me about the sustainability piece, right? And we've been around we just celebrated our 5th year, here in Scott County doing services, 100% free services to our population. We don't charge insurance, nobody, anything. But I do have the sustainability piece for you. However, I wanted to give you an option 2. And I reduced the ask, Mike. So this is historical number 2 of the night. New year, new me, right?
Especially for you.
Right. So if you can pass that one down, Mike. This would probably be the bare bones of the request for me to have sustainability with the request. The number I would be asking for is $189,567. And I would like to show you the sustainability with that, and maybe I'll come back in 3 years, 4 years and say, okay, can I have the rest to make my wish list come true for Scott County?
That's a lot of money. Could you ask slower?
Huh?
That's a lot of money. Could you ask?
If I ask any lower, I won't be able to have the sustainability.
Slower.
Oh, slower.
Yeah, drag that out because, you know, it's a lot of money.
$189,567. And so this would give me the wraparound services. The biggest need in Scott County, and that we all see here in the gap that we're seeing, is transportation. And, you know, we do free Lyft rides for the other counties that we serve, right? We can get a Lyft ride if you're going to a medical appointment, doctor's appointment, if you're going to a therapy appointment, if you wanna go to a meeting, like a peer support meeting, if you wanna go get groceries, we give you free Lyft rides. We can't get Lyft rides to come to Scott County. They're just not doing it. And so our biggest struggle in Scott County, is transportation. And so with what we're asking for is, I actually wanna put a peer coach as a facilitator to take people to their medical appointments, to their therapy appointments, to their AA or NA or whatever peer support meetings that looks like, to the grocery store if they can't get to the grocery store. Give them a way to start getting some transportation until they can get their feet back underneath them, get to work. We'll even take them to work, get them to work until they can actually, you know, have a long-term goal. So that was my second option. And like I said, with that being the breakdown of it is, it's kind of one of the lower end of it, just because of I would need that kind of keep the sustainability for when I charge back to make it work. Any questions on that?
So this is an additional to the,
No, this is your option 2.
so you have option 1.
Yep, option 1, which was the $299, which is the dream wish for Scott County. And then option 2 is, because if you do want to see some sustainability, if you want to see me, I mean, I have it here, it has been working for 5 years, is to show you, this is the program that we can run, and then show you sustainability, maybe come back in 2, 3, 4 years and say, is there any way we can make this bigger?
So option 2, let me just, my small brain here.
Mhm.
You're talking about how many employees?
3,
So you're talking 3 employees?
yep,
Cause you got 1, 2, and 5. So I'm trying to figure out, so you're talking 3 employees.
3 employees, yeah, so I apologize, so.
And a piece of equipment.
Yes, yep,
So the original plan was 5 employees.
Correct.
And no equipment.
no, equipment was in there as well, because transportation is still the highest need in Scott County.
So you had the vehicle and the
I
other
did,
one.
yep.
I didn't see it, so
What I took away was the 2 employees.
I'll have to read it better.
Yeah, it should have been the same breakdown on the front.
Okay. Okay. Well, just like Randy had talked about, I mean, and the breakdown is what I wanted to see for the fact that, you know, you have a quote of $300,000 and it's like, I don't know how I tried 5
Right.
people in a vehicle and I want $300,000.
Right.
Well, I wanna see where it's broke out to what
Right.
we're actually spending money for, so, okay.
And
Randy,
this would also take people to treatment. That's another barrier that we have right now. If somebody in Scott County wants to go to Fort Wayne, if somebody in Scott County wants to go to, there's other, like psych hospitals, like in Elkhart and Gary, Indiana, we have some as well. We still have issues getting people to treatment. And so this vehicle would actually do that as well.
Greg, you got any questions?
So your letters here, the recommendation, I know you've got one signed by Martin.
Mhm.
Martin, fantastic guy. I'm just curious, I mean, does anybody else like the hospital, do they partner with you all now in some form financially or?
So I have that in other counties. I serve 21 counties, okay? My main concern, because I have some satellite hubs that help with my northern, eastern part, is the 10 counties that kind of go down 65. And so like in Floyd County, I have a contract, I just got awarded a grant to have a full-time person in Floyd County that works with the judicial piece, probation, community corrections. They're actually housed inside of probation, and they're there, as a full-time position. I have, some other, recovery residences that contract us out for a certain amount of hours, like in Harrison County. And then I have one also that helps out in Clark County as well. In Scott County, everything we do here, the partnerships that we have, it's not a fiscal relationship, it's all MOU status, right? And so, just like what we piloted inside of the jail program, that full-time piece we have inside the jail with the judge and the prosecutor, community corrections and probation, those were all just a big MOU to come together to work together as a collaboration. And so that's why I mean, I hate to say it, but just, there's not a lot of money to give or to contract with here in Scott County. And so that's why, if you all could help me get the program running, I can sustain it. I just, as a nonprofit, don't have the money up front.
Well, I mean, with the opioid settlement, I mean, that's you guys' business is
Right.
what, you know, it was dealt with to one of the places you can actually spend the money. I mean,
Right.
there's other places, but, you know, you guys are the hands-on people in this community, so.
Well, and we focused very heavily on the abatement settlement,
Right.
the abatement share, and to leave the unrestricted share so that if Nick needs a new ambulance, then, I mean.
He wanted two. He wanted two.
He wants to. I mean, not that, I mean, his ask is way bigger than ours. But so that funding is still there, and that still would meet abatement strategy goal. I mean, we need the ambulances to be able to
Right.
run. And so that's one of those things where hopefully that can also help that piece of the county as well.
And one of the things that I like about ours, so, you know, and I'm sure you've reached out to other commissioners and what they're doing, you know, Clark's doing something different than Floyd's doing something different than anybody else. But one thing I love about what we did is, you know, you have 3 different entities that have been serving Scott County for quite a bit of time. These 2 have, you know, and I've been for 5 years. And we came together and said, what's the gap services? What is anyone not doing? And so that's, you know, the request that we're coming to you all with is, how do we fill those gap services?
Well, money's not on trees up there either, so.
Right.
No, it would be nice.
Yeah. Well, he's got it. See how he dresses and. But, anyway, I think, where I'm at with this, and we haven't even had a formal discussion amongst us in the council to even try to figure out, you know, which direction we're going. The meeting tomorrow night is actually a meeting with our accountant, firm to, tell us exactly, you can do it in this program, you can do it in this program, and you can't do it in this one or this one or this one. So that is a meeting that we've called for, you know, council to be there so that they, you know, understand the same thing we're gonna understand, and we're all on the same page. So as far as distributing any type of money, I don't think we've not had that discussion.
Right.
We are gonna have that discussion, and that's why, you know, hence the meeting tomorrow night is gonna lead us in a better direction of knowing, how we can write the check and how we can spend it correctly, because as everybody knows, if this money is spent in a wrong manner, we're on the hook for the money and they're gonna come back for it, so.
And I think, you know, that's another reason why we wanted, you know, tonight, because I know that conversation's tomorrow, and if you're okay seeing me 2 nights in a row, I was gonna come as well.
Just don't wear the coat.
Just don't wear the coat. Just the pink shoes. So, with that being said, you know, that's why I think we wanted to come up to you all with the changes and say, you know, if this is something that can happen, of course, for my side of it, the sooner I can move and get going in Scott County. You know, I've been saying this for a year, is, you know it as much as Nick and everyone else, overdoses are up right now.
Last night.
they're up right now. And, the sooner we can get doing something in the community, you know, I'm begging for that.
Okay. Marcelo, you got a
I
question?
just got a question off the wall. What is the rate, you got any numbers in Scott County, like in those last 5 years on the recovery?
Mhm.
How beneficial it's been? the
Yeah,
program?
so, and I'm just gonna give you, off one piece of our programs that we're running right now. The jail program that we're doing, which really focuses on, recidivism and focuses on, lowering the population there with people with SUD and mental health issues. From July till December, we have a 93% participation rate of people that were let out in July that are still engaging in services in December. So,
But how many is totally recovered? You got kind of record
so
on that?
that, well, here we go, right? What's the definition of
I'm gonna say
recovery?
that.
What's the definition of recovery,
You
right?
never recover.
Right, there's not the definition of recovery is any positive change, right? To say somebody, you know, not everybody's completely abstinent, some people still drink.
Well, I mean, like when some of them finally pull loose, you know, they got them established, you know.
We have a high percentage of people now,
Yeah.
but they still reach back out to us too, right? Cause everybody goes through something.
Right.
And that's one thing we don't do, is if, you know, we got people we've been working with for 5 years, we don't ever cut them off. So if, you know, say they've got 6 months and they're doing great and they have a setback or there's some stuff going on, they're allowed to reach back out to us to get services.
So far as even like an alcoholic or something, you're there for them to help?
Absolutely. We're
help
actually, another conversation that we're having with the Indiana Forensic Services who, started the jail program with us to help that get started. We're actually looking to help out with, adolescents as well. So that's a program we're starting in 2023. It's just, we gotta make sure adolescence is a whole different ballgame. And so we're trying to make sure that we can get all that together. But that'll be some funding that comes down I won't need from you all. But that's just more to strengthen the community, right? We also give family support. So if someone, has a family member that's still in active addiction or is reaching out for recovery and they still haven't got that connection there yet, we'll give the family support as well for free.
But the suicides in the county have risen quite a bit.
The overdoses have,
The overdose.
Yes. the overdoses have, yes. I
So-
can't speak on the suicide piece.
Right. But you don't
Suicides
know.
are variable.
Yeah,
Pardon me?
The suicides are variable in the county, it really kind of depends on the year.
So we got a plan to maybe help resolve some of that, or?
I have a huge plan, and one of that is to allow transportation in the county, because that's one of the biggest barriers that Scott County faces.
Keep their,
Yep, we have work, that's the thing. Manufacturers, that are around Scott County, we have a lot of second chance employment. The problem we have is getting people to work, that's our biggest problem.
right, thank you, guys.
That's a fact. Go ahead.
Services you talk about, transportation is a humongous issue in county, I know that. So, your services that you talk about, it's free, no insurance payment, is it, do you have to have an addictive disorder to tap into those resources?
For us right now, because of how this money comes through, it would have to be mental health or substance use disorder for this service, just because this is the opioid settlement abatement funds.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so I believe that's where we're at as far as we're gonna have this meeting tomorrow night. And then I'm gonna say, you know, in the next 30 days or anyway, we'd have a joint meeting with the council to pick their brain too. I mean, and then we can, you know, start looking at, you know, hey, what do we wanna fund and are we, you know, what you guys are doing, so.
Is
So-
that an open meeting, Lorna?
Yes, it is.
I'd like to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
First off,
Tomorrow night's meeting starts at 6 o'clock though.
Is that 6?
Starts
Is that 6? Okay, thank you.
one thing I like about your guys' program is you're very passionate about what you do. And I really appreciate that. Now, what I'm gonna say, probably, I don't want you to take it personal, because I'm very pleased with you guys. But there's one thing that we have to look at, and the fact that our ambulance service has been affected, our coroner's office has been affected, the health department has been affected, and we are on the hook for a lot of that. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't want you to build up your hopes, for my vote, for $300,000. Because I will not vote for that. I think we need to shore up some of our, our own departments that we don't have the funding for. You know, this is a one-shot deal for us too. You know, right now we're renting a place for our coroner's office. I hope someday in the near future that changes and we have our own coroner's office. But, you know, I want to tell you, I think you guys are doing a great job. I appreciate what you're doing. But I don't want to give false hopes, is all I'm trying to get at. There's other departments that needs to be shored up and.
And I hope that, you know, and I understand that. And I think that's why there is the big difference in what the abatement is versus the restricted money. You know, there is a very clear line about what can be spent versus what can't be spent. I just hope that when you look at the abatement shares on the services that we do, with that, I mean, that really is, that's our forte. And that's what we do really well. And the sad part is about that is, if we don't figure out something to get in there and bring that connection to the population, you're not gonna have a big enough coroner's office because the overdoses are still going up. And we're talking about what drugs are now that's killing people. We got more drugs, different drugs that are coming in every 6 months. And so until we really bring in the connection piece of what the antidote for this is, unfortunately, I don't think anything's gonna get better.
You all see like things with fentanyl, you know, we hear a lot on the news about that coming across the border and stuff.
We do.
Almost every one of our overdose fatalities over the last 16 months had fentanyl involved in one way or another. Now, that may not have been the primary cause of death essentially, but it was still in the system.
Did you say that the $300,000 ask or the $295, whatever? The Kmart special,
Just for
was a one-time ask, so if we, you know, and I'm like Randy, I'm not saying I don't want anybody, hey, what you asked for is what you're getting. I mean,
Can you just state the check?
is that you're asking one time for that money so that in the next year's payout to us, you're not coming in here asking for.
Because the thing is, I don't offer clinical services. I don't offer medical services. I offer people with lived experiences that have been trained and educated on how to help these people, and walk with them. I believe that other services and other grants need that money to help them because we got problems with clinical, we got problems with medical, we really do. My pieces of coming in here and asking for that is just, what do they do when they come out of treatment and get put right back in Scott County? They can't go to work, they can't get there. What are they gonna do? And so I'm just trying to plug in that wrap of services. So yes, this is a one-time ask for Scott
But
County.
your option too is not a one-time ask.
It can be a one-time ask. I mean, it really can. But my thing is, I want to show you that we're going to make it work. And this population wants the help. It really does. You all have a recovery community. We have a recovery community that is a state model. Mike, you've been all over. When they talk about Scott County, they really don't talk about the HIV epidemic of 2015. They talk about the recovery model that you all have built. And I just want to expand this, and I think there's a population we're missing.
Well, and I'll admit, I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, but there's times when people don't ask for that help. I mean,
Right.
and sometimes, and this is where I was, you know, I think sometimes if someone is arrested, that is at least you have a hold of that person for a few hours that you can say, hey, you can get in front of those people. But a lot of times, and this is where I've talked to state legislatures, is that if a person overdoses, if they're transported to the hospital, and now they don't, sometimes they don't even go, but if they're transported to the hospital, they get a free pass and they go home and they do it again and nobody's in front of them. And I know what you're gonna say, you have people out there at those calls.
Yes.
But my point is that sometimes, and as bad as it sounds, that someone gets arrested, that puts them in a system to where a judge or somebody tells them, you are gonna get treatment. And you may not accept that treatment, but somebody's gonna be in front of you, or you're gonna have to go somewhere to get, you're gonna listen to somebody, whether it's in their head or not.
And, sorry, I'm sorry.
No, but I'm saying it's still, the problem is people are not accepting that they wanna change.
I mean, there is a population out there, and I'm gonna speak more outside of Scott County, because Clark County's, and
Everybody's got the problem,
Right.
I mean,
But,
they all wanna go to Indianapolis and tell everybody they don't have the problem, but they all have the problem.
there's a lot of places that people just don't wanna stop, and so, we try to give them blankets and the coat, right? We try to tell them where white flag shelters are, we try to do those sort of things. But just like what you said about, and I'm a firm believer, I've been arrested quite a few times. I have 16 convicted felonies, spent a little bit of time in jail. And
But you
sometimes.
were also a police officer, weren't you?
I was. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about addiction, it doesn't care who you are.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, with the program we have, with that 93% rate that I was talking about, I need community people to help them on the outside when they walk out of jail. When I need to take them to work, I need to take them to their appointments, and so that way we can keep, because the people that we do that with in the jail, like, we help anyone that becomes incarcerated, but the only people that go through our program are people that are going back to Scott County. And so this is their neighbors. These are your brothers, your sister, your family members. This is Scott County. And so, being able to assist them, and those barriers when they first get out is the only way we're gonna be able to get them back to being productive members. One thing that, we've done, that I'm very proud about is, we just hired our 15th contractor. So we have 15 employee contractors that work for Thrive right now. 5 of those live and used active addiction in Scott County. Now they're giving back to Scott County. They're paying their taxes. They're providing services. That ripple effect is opposite now, where they're not causing damages. They're not causing your medical bills to go up, or Nick's not getting paid to take them, or they're signing AMA again. They're actually giving back to this community.
I was curious, there's other counties probably right now that's, some of these overdoses are escalating in other counties. We're not the only one right now.
You're not, no.
I mean, because I've worked with some people in several other counties, and we were just talking about this actually yesterday.
Right.
And they were telling me, and I'm talking about a few counties away from here, that they're starting to see an increase in overdoses.
Last year, Scott County was 40% lower than the national average. In the states, Indiana was 6% higher than any other state in overdoses. Scott County was 40% lower than that. You're not seeing it this year. Fentanyl is a whole new thing that's coming through.
Well, the one thing that, and I said this before, in another discussion about a different topic, but the issue that I still have is that, and I know it's a lifesaver because we use it all the time, but you don't know how many people are overdosing in Scott County anymore, because they have Narcan, they can Narcan themselves, and they're not reporting.
Right.
So you hope that number is down, but I have a fear that it's not.
Right.
Is that people are self-administering themselves, or family members assisting somebody, but those aren't reportable.
Right.
And even though, Narcan's a temporary fix, they can, and I've said this a million times to people, is that you need to go to the hospital, because it's gonna wear off. And
On the same one.
And on the same overdose, but, you can only force somebody to do something so long.
And you're right, and that's one thing that we get a very small number, because we do have people that self-report if they use Narcan, because we do work with people, and another thing that we are having a problem right now on a rise that you all may not have seen is the homeless population has rose in Scott County. And that's some things that we're trying, there's something behind there, right? And that's another piece of the mental health thing that we do. Mild, of course, serious SMIs, stuff, outside of our lane, but mild mental health stuff we can do and get people connected. But you're right, but
you don't know what the number is anymore, so, it used to be that they all got transported and you could take some sort of number, but now you don't know that, and it's sad.
And sometimes it's taking 4 or 5 per one person,
Well, actually.
But I seen that
after 2 doses.
Right, and that's, that, I love that, I think it was Scott County EMS that was doing the bagging thing before.
Well, actually, we did it on
Was it you all?
the one on the interstate.
Did you?
We did it, and it was, then the guy about hit me, I mean, cause he came straight up, so. But if you're gonna do it, you need to be prepared, because, and like you said, and for everybody's, what they're talking about is sometimes when you do the nasal, it just sprays, but it sprays, and sometimes it doesn't go into the.
Kinda just sits there,
where
right,
it needs
especially when
to
you lay
go.
down.
So what we do is we take, we actually compress air into them, and it shoves it in, and it does a lot better job, but a lot of people don't do that, but I guess the other way you could actually know if there's overdoses that aren't being reported is how many Narcan, and the repeat of people asking for Narcan, so.
Yeah.
But then again, are they taking it someplace else and giving it to other people that, you just never know.
And that, and you're right, and that's one of those things where we hope so at the same time. We hope so, we hope that's happening at the same time. It's one of
Well,
those,
I
it's a
mean,
catch-22, really, because,
I hope nobody's out there selling it to somebody, so.
Right. Well, I would hope not with all the ways you can get it free right
Well,
now.
that's what, but I'm saying
Yeah.
is somebody that.
What's
Somebody's mom or something.
What's the total ask for each individual now?
So
It was equaled out our first draw.
Well, so it originally did, but you
Now.
dropped a
Yeah,
certain
we
amount,
dropped,
so I'm trying to figure out.
about 20, it was, I just handed my so we dropped to, first year was 86.
8180. 81,800.
And then
81,800,
Okay.
yeah.
And then 49,006.
So what we actually received was 459,296.27 cents.
Yeah, which is actually
As the
$3,000
HHA,
more
so
than
we'll get you
what
that 87.
originally they thought.
Get him to vote for
So
that.
what I wanna say to everybody though is, and I know you're saying, there's only specific uses, but, so we've already had, the health department director come in.
Mhm.
Michelle
Mhm.
is asking for some of that abatement share, so, I would just, if there is some type of alternative or one program you feel like is more necessary or priority based.
That's why I came in with that second option.
Okay, alright.
It was, over 100,000 less. Yep.
Do any of you guys do anything on the preventive side?
So,
That's us.
yep,
Yep.
in the schools,
You're going
Yep.
to the schools?
And CEAS actually does all 3 pillars, so we have prevention and education, and then we have treatment and intervention, and then we have justice and law enforcement. So like programs, with incarcerated populations or people on community corrections, those kinds of things. So we have all 3 pillars.
yeah, but yeah, that's and that's what I love about what we do is we're all doing this on the front lines in different ways, right? So mine is pre, during, and post after already addiction is happening, right? She does preventative. The partnership does preventative with Dylan and what they're doing there, and then some more help, and then Carissa and what CEAS is doing actually hits all of those pillars to assist with the program. 39 different
Our
programs.
junior going on in elementary schools.
Right.
So.
What grades? Elementary?
It starts in 4th grade, all the way up through 12.
Oh, I didn't hear the end of it.
All the way up
Until
through
12.
Oh,
Dylan's getting over strep throat, so.
For the second time.
That's why he's got a mask. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I loved about what, we did together to come in here and hit all those different pieces of what it actually talks about in the abatement piece, so, yeah.
Okay, well, I think we know what you want now, and I appreciate you coming back with an alternative, so.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So that's.
That was refreshing.
I know, and I was right there, I was like, I think I can swing Randy on this one.
But you gotta worry about me.
Well, we're best friends.
Anyway, I think the plan is that, like I said, I think we're gonna have a meeting tomorrow night, and you guys are more than welcome to be there to
Love to do
listen. And then again, we'll have a joint meeting with the council to kind of, hear their input, and then, again, the biggest thing is, and I know you probably know this more than I do, the biggest thing is making sure we spend it in the correct way.
Absolutely.
And I mean, as a government, we need to make sure that, you know, we're doing that properly, so.
And there is a packet that I put in there that is highlighted with the abatement piece of the pieces of our scope of work of what we'll actually be doing
I
that you
saw
can.
that.
Yeah, I did that, I color coded it for you, Mike.
It's the wrong color.
Yeah.
All right, well, I appreciate you guys coming in. and-
Can I ask, and I understand that this is gonna be a process, it sounds like it's gonna be end of February, probably end of February at least, before you pull the council in together as well.
No, I think my opinion, I think it's probably the 1st of February, we'd have that discussion with them, if not to the end of this month, and then kinda have a decision before the end of February. There's no sense of dragging it out, I mean.
Well, my question would be, would we need to come back, or would we be approached if, hey, we're gonna go with something, or not go with something?
I would leave that up to you guys to decide. I mean, obviously, we will kind of advertise the
Yeah, we did that.
meetings, as we normally do with the agendas and everything, but I wouldn't. If you feel like you wanna come back and.
I'll get on the schedule tonight, yep.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, appreciate your time.
Thank you, thanks for what you guys do too. Next thing up is consideration of the internet service request for the transfer station. I think this probably is something that we learned in the meeting we had at the school, that probably need to have internet service out there and a computer and some other stuff, and actually, I guess in the future have, like, where you could pay with a debit card or something else without cash, and, so, Randy, you know probably a little bit more, I think you brought this, so.
Well, I've been speaking, with a vendor, to take, he was interested in taking that over, out there for us. But one of the things that they would need in place is internet service, provided to them. And, which, like you just said, I mean, even if that doesn't work, we're still planning on looking at different options on what we're gonna do out there to fix things. And we're gonna need internet service regardless. So.
I agree, do we have any kind of thought of price?
Well, maybe. One moment.
And I know
But
it's-
now the prices of this, what I was given from Andrew, was from February last year. We don't have, let me just stop there. We don't have any current pricing. I don't wanna say any prices right now. We don't have any current pricing at this
So I just
moment.
table that specific issue, but I would ask, Andrew before our next meeting to bring quotes from different providers, and I don't know if they would need to run, line, I don't know exactly what they would need to do to be able to put the service in, so that's
Right.
something that,
I spoke with him.
He's
He's
gonna know how to
gonna
do
come to
that.
the next
Okay.
meeting.
Frontier
have
probably
them-
has a line down the road, and
I would
so does
suggest
the city.
3 quotes, and
John,
Jackson County should be out there, they got great internet service.
so
Yeah,
there's services
they do.
running up and down the road, so we
Three
just
different
need 3
groups.
different ones, and
see what they're,
so, alright, we'll move on and we'll table that till the next meeting. So Andrew brings some information. Looks like consideration of the courthouse badge access for TM Wells. Who's TM Wells?
It's an asset.
Oh,
Asset.
Yeah, it's that email we got on there.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, I mean, this, I guess I'm gonna ask,
and I think there was actually an email that went out, kind of advising everybody that they could be coming in and out, right? Or maybe I
but that's during business hours, is it not?
thought it was.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Randy, you got a question about it?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that would be limited access, right?
I don't know what kind of access we can get with Andrew and find out what he's gonna give him. I don't know what he needs, and, I know this is the organization that we had hired to, I
This
guess,
is fixed.
evaluate all of our
This
assets,
is
and,
fixed asset evaluation.
and he had a death, or they had a death in the I guess, within their business, and that's why it hasn't happened yet, so I guess they're back working again, and, I don't know what kind of access, but we can approve to give him access, then determine what that access is, I guess.
Limited access.
You know, tell him, hey, what do you need, where do you need to be, and just give him that access, and it
I
doesn't need
think
to be.
rather than giving out a employee, like a badge, is that what the
That's
request is?
what the request
I don't know
is.
that I would do that in this situation, with different political office holders who,
Right, that's what I'm wondering too.
Now, access to, I don't know, that's, I guess, I don't know why,
I mean, most confidential material or anything like that, if that's a concern, is there's a secondary gatekeep piece, you know, obviously, in the county for that, you don't get access to it with just a badge, but I'm just talking about moving in and out of somebody's office, making sure that they know, I don't know what he would need access to that he wouldn't be able to get.
can you contact him and find out what he actually needs and what kind of access he needs? Cause I don't know that I'd wanna give him a card that he could get in at after hours or, and I know Andrew can limit where he can go and where he, you know, and what hours he can be here, so. So we just need to know, I guess, and we'll bring it up the next meeting, but I think he needs to let us know where he needs to be and at what time he needs to be, cause otherwise the doors are open, I mean.
Pretty soon.
So, you got a question, Greg, or
No. I just-
comment?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, I think there should be some limitations on that access and.
Randy?
No, it's, like I said, I would agree to limited access, but like you, I want to find out
What he needs.
what's the limit, yeah.
Alright, so we'll table that as well until we can find out what kind of access he's asking for, so. So, moving right along, consideration for the regular monthly claims, and Randy, I know you probably have got them, Craig, did they send those to you?
Yeah.
So, everybody had an opportunity to look at the claims?
Yes, I did.
So I'll entertain a motion to accept to approve the monthly claims for December of 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve claims.
Randy makes a motion, Greg,
I'll second that.
Craig seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous, so. There's
Special claims,
There's
we
a
have some urgent things they need to push through.
actually, do you have those?
Yep.
What is it?
I hope that I do. Just two checks, I think.
I think this is one.
Don't leave now.
Maybe it was just one.
I think I just got the one.
She wanted to write those Friday, right?
I think so, yeah.
Too bad. Alright, this looks like a claim for TeamViewer Germany for $2,414.40. Looks like it's for an annual licensing contract that we have. Guess I'm looking on there to see what it's like 200 licensed users that can start connections from an unlimited number of devices, so it's either a who's this from anyway? Is this what? Oh, it's from the IT, it's from Andrews, so it has to be licenses for our computers, so we have to pay that annual fee anyway, so anyway, if we wanna communicate with somebody, I guess we need to, so I'll let you see it. I'll entertain a motion to accept that claim of $2,414.
I'll make that motion.
Let him work over here a second now.
Yeah, I'll second.
Randy makes a motion to accept the claim for Team Viewers Germany for $2,414.40. And Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous, so.
Yeah, what did you say?
I'm sorry.
Did you say there was two?
There's just one.
Oh, okay.
So, that's approved. The last thing here is consideration of the minutes for the regular meeting, December 21st of 2022. So I'll entertain a motion. Everybody had an opportunity to see the minutes.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for December 21st.
I'll second that.
Randy makes a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting on December the 21st, 2022. Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous, so. That can,
No, payroll.
I'll sit now, sorry. Actually, I jumped it, so sorry. Consideration of the, I'll entertain a motion to consider the December 30th payroll doc ratification. Everybody had an opportunity to look at the payroll and feel comfortable with it.
I have.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the payroll.
I'll make a motion for everybody to get paid.
I think they probably already have, but.
I'll second that.
Randy makes a motion to accept December 30th, 2022 payroll ratification, and Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous, so everybody gets paid. So, Mr. Attorney, do you have any comments?
The only thing is, I just wanna remind everybody that the meeting tomorrow is at 6 o'clock, not 5 o'clock, and it is an open meeting, special meeting. Just to generally receive some information from Baker Tilly about the different types of funds that we have in the county, which would include the opioid abatement. And I sent a redrafted copy of, the EMS Kelly Day addendum to you and, Nick, assuming that that is what Nick's requesting. When he sends an email back approving that, can you forward that to, Wagner or Windshield? That's the only thing I had.
Okay,
For it, they just wanna be able to approve it, and then we'll put it on an agenda for your all's, one of your all's upcoming meetings, and then if it approved, it would go to council.
okay. Randy, you got any additional comments?
Nope, I do not.
That's good.
I have a question, can I ask
Yes.
this? I'm not at the right meeting. Since it's the city of Scottsburg, the meeting that I need to go to find out the information that I want, is it public record of what the county pays versus the city of Scottsburg? So do I need to go to the city of Austin?
No, you can go to the auditor's office.
So is all that public record?
You can, for our part, you can go to the auditor and ask for that information. As far as the city of Austin, the city of Scottsburg, you would have to go ask them.
Okay, so I do have to go to their meetings to find that out.
No, you could probably go
Well,
to
what-
City Hall and ask them.
I'll try and, yeah, what exactly are you looking for, just so?
Well, I'm actually looking for quite a bit of things, but, my main concern here is just where the money's going, that people think that they're donating to the animal shelter when there's only a 3-day dog kill turnover. So a
Okay.
lot of people in the county think that they're donating money to the animal shelter, and it's not even a shelter, it's animal control.
Really?
And now I'm getting,
I think those are two different
Well,
things.
the money that's being donated by the citizens, that would have nothing to do with what the money from the county.
but it's a question to find out where that money's going, because it's going to
So-
somebody.
If you, here's what I'll say, to answer the question, if you have a question about because I believe we contract out with the
Yes,
city
we
of
do.
Scottsburg, so auditor's office would be able to have a record of what's supplied to, the city of Scottsburg Animal Shelter for our part. The city of Scottsburg, I would assume it would be the clerk would have the records for the city, for what, they put into it, and then I don't know that Austin would even be involved in this situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they are, then their contribution would be from this, you would be able to get from the city of Austin, but it also might be able to be gotten from the city clerk, cause all of it would, end up there.
Yeah, that's true. What he's saying is.
You don't necessarily have to go to an open meeting to make a records request.
Oh, yeah, I'm learning a lot. just
You
from
can-
this
you
one.
can-
I think I'll go listen.
You can go to, during regular business hours, you can go to a department, and request a record. There's obviously certain time frames that they have to get back to you, and there's some information that can be supplied depending on the record request that's made. Some might not be able to be supplied, but this does not sound like one that,
What about the records of, deaths? Could I get that from the animal control?
the records of.
Talking about
animal
Supposedly
deaths.
they're shooting them with bullets, they're not humana,
You could make that request or if there is a record.
or they're
that-
gassing them, so they're not doing
You
it,
could-
you
you
know,
could-
and that's like a cruelty to animal law in Indiana, and
I think you could make that, if you think that that is a request that you wanna make, you could make that request at the animal shelter.
it's
Or I guess that's,
control,
yeah,
animal
control,
control.
not shelter.
Thank you, guys.
All right, no problem. Greg, you got any comments or?
No, I just, look forward to working with everybody and getting a lot of things done, so thanks for.
Well, you may not say that after
Maybe
a
not.
few meetings.
But we'll do our best.
We'll do our best. All right, I have, well, first of all, I wanna, welcome Greg to, Scott County Board of Commissioners and hopefully, he enjoys it as much as Randy does. But anyway, I wanna, it's not like he, didn't try this before, but he, try, and you can wish for something you may not want later, but again, I welcome you to our meeting and to the Board of Commissioners, and as well as Jenny being our new auditor. I wanna welcome her. She may not like us after a while of us asking her for 10 million things, but I wanna welcome her as well as a new member of the Scott County government, so. And I know we do have, I'm gonna say it while they're here, we have, several council members here, two of them being brand new with John Miller and Johnny White, and, we have John Collins, which is gonna be tough for, that board to know there's a JW, a JC, and a JM, so I don't know how you're gonna distinguish one from the other, so good luck with that. Cause if you call us and say, well, this is John or Johnny, or, we don't know which one we're talking to, so.
Just give yourself, sign yourself numbers right off the bat. John, John 1, John 2.
But he also, we also have the deputy auditor, is that correct? Welcome to you as well.
This is Debbie Ritchie.
Debbie Ritchie, so, welcome, and,
Thank you for joining the team.
Glad to be here.
so anyway, it's gonna be a new year with a lot of learning cycles and for the public, I hope you, have some patience with us a little bit, and that's gonna turn me into the next topic that I have, is that, we had something that happened at the end of the year, last year, and I'm gonna say it happened at the end of November, 1st of December, that we got a quote return from our health insurance, with a 34.5% increase, to our yearly payments. We, asked them at the time to bid it out to other people. And I'm gonna say it, there was two companies, which are huge companies, but, Humana and I think Aetna, and they didn't even wanna bid it. Anthem, I'm sorry, Anthem, corrected. So they didn't even bid. So, Cigna had returned a bid, which increased our annual premiums 8.5%. So the reason that a lot of people didn't know what was happening and going on and whatnot was that it was a pretty much end of the year. We found out, we had them at bid again. We got one bidder come back, cause even the company that we used really didn't wanna bid it, that's why they bid it so high. So in turn, that happened in the second or third week of December, and if I remember right, and we had a meeting and asked for that to be acknowledged to an email, to a message to all county employees, which I'm finding out after yesterday and multiple phone calls that that was not communicated to the employees. So I personally want to apologize to all of our county employees and their families that they didn't realize that our policy was changing on 1/1/23. So again, I hope you accept my apologies and hopefully the Board of Commissioners' apology that you were not communicated when we asked that to happen. So after multiple phone calls, and I'm sure these guys got them as well, and even our attorney received phone calls. I know the council received phone calls. Reached out to the insurance company in Evansville, and they sent an email to me and to Jenny with a policy number, with a Cigna insurance company letterhead stating, here's your policy number, and that was sent out by Andrew to all county emails. But I know there's some employees that don't have emails, so their department heads were instructed to make sure that their employees all had the hand copies of all those numbers. So, and then today I received another phone call from another person that fell into a different crack that, you know, we're working on that problem as well. But tomorrow, and this is for anybody that's watching that's a county employee, tomorrow between 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, BJ Watts will be here in this room to update anybody's insurance, update new employees' insurance, and to have any kind of discussion, comments, or questions answered from the insurance side of this situation. So
I believe that email went out, right, all the way countywide?
The 9 to 2?
Yes.
I believe so.
I got it.
So,
Okay.
but anyway, again, I apologize, cause like I said, you know, I've been in situations in years past where companies change insurance companies and then the next year you have some providers that don't, you know, use that insurance, and some doctors and dentists don't use those insurance, but these savings to the county and to the employees, because if we'd have stayed with the 34.5% increase, some of that would have rolled to the employees, because the county would not have been able to sustain a $600,000 increase yearly. And I used a 600, it's 600 and some change, but it was a very substantial amount of money. So, again, I'm gonna stop there, but I just want everybody to know, I know there's emails flying around from county employees that are bashing the heck out of everybody, but there was a reason for it. There was a process that we went through, and all three commissioners voted to do it. I think the council was involved with it, so I just want everybody to know that it wasn't something that was underhanded by any means, or trying to put someone in an awkward position. It was something that was necessary and something that we acted on, and I'm gonna leave it at that, so.
One thing I wanna say is I think, you're, being very generous with just saying a few phone calls, cause I counted this morning, and I got 64 phone calls yesterday.
I get that. So I didn't add mine, I was
Just to be clear, all those final decisions, you know, were made in open session.
That's
We're
correct.
receiving all the information, and we reviewed the information in open session and then made a decision, so.
Yeah,
And those were televised meetings, they weren't in a secret special meeting behind closed doors, it was an open televised meeting, so if anybody wants to go back on those meetings in December, it was there, and actually the request for the employees to understand that we're in a change was actually requested as well, so I apologize again, and I know these guys feel it too, and, but anyway, there's nothing else.
I do have one thing I
Go ahead.
forgot. I did not have time before today's meeting, but I sent everybody a copy of the contract for myself for the coming year. So, assuming, no, it's exactly the same. It is exactly the same. It only changes the effective date from last year, but take the time to read that and we can address that at a future meeting. Make it effective for January, assuming we're gonna have another meeting in January, so I apologize for that.
Also, with that, I wanna say one last thing, is that we normally assign, I guess, what's it, boards and appointments. And I think in the last 2 years that I've been here, I mean, we've kinda tabled that, cause we're never ready in January, so we're gonna table that till maybe the next meeting.
Generalized list at this point of the appointments that are up. Obviously, I think everybody should take their time to look at those, you know, come up with suggestions that you might have for those individual places, and definitely look at how long the appointments are, because it differs from board to board. And then we can address that at the next meeting in January.
Well, we've had some people that have stepped away from some appointments too, so that weren't originally on the list, so anyway, that's all I got.
Mrs. Williams.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be easy. You just reminded me, maybe not easy. You just reminded me when you said open recorded session. Do we have any county policies about what's recorded? Because I know sometimes, I think these are all recorded, sometimes the council is, sometimes it's not. Is there a rule? Because those of us who can't come during the day would like to.
Actually, I think the council's gonna meet, you guys meet 10th, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm not gonna talk for them, but I mean, they have the right to televise all their meetings, or some of them, or whatever, that's their discretion. As long as their times they meet, whether it's what day they meet or what hours they meet. And I'm sure they're going to discuss that in their meetings on Tuesday, so.
And if anybody wants to bring a recording device to a meeting, you are permitted.
Well, Mr. Townsend, he's done it for 6 years, so.
State law. Anybody you would like to record, you can.
But the answer to that question is in those guys' hands, and I'm not gonna speak for them.
Whether a board decides to do that, I would say is up to that individual board.
I believe it's state statute for us, right?
No.
No,
Is it not?
No,
you're not required to record your own.
we tried to
meeting.
push
You have to keep a audio recording at a minimum in order to prepare minutes and things like that, but,
I don't wanna change it, I thought it was state statute.
No.
you don't necessarily have to have a video recording. Obviously, that didn't exist in the, you know, fashion it does now with the hours and things like that 20 years ago.
Okay. All right, nothing else, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Randy makes the motion to adjourn the meeting in record time. And Greg? I'll second it. Greg seconds that, and I'll make that unanimous, so kill the bird. Sorry, you have to take your coat off and put it back on.
That's a bad hot. Okay, I'm getting hot.
Here, I'll take care of it.